The halls of Washington were once filled with Benjamin Netanyahu's booming voice, condemning the Iran nuclear deal brokered by President Obama. He warned of a grave threat to Israel, a nuclear-armed Iran on the horizon. Fast forward to the Trump era, and a curious silence has descended. Netanyahu, the once outspoken critic, has been remarkably muted as the Trump administration engages in its own dance with Iran. This silence is not born of agreement, but of a different kind of calculation. Netanyahu, a seasoned player on the world stage, understands the dynamics of power. He recognizes Donald Trump as a staunch ally, a provider of crucial support to Israel. To publicly rebuke Trump's approach to Iran would be to risk alienating a valuable friend, a gamble Netanyahu is unwilling to take. This shift in strategy underscores the complexities of international diplomacy. It reveals the delicate balance between national interest and personal relationships, between principled stances and pragmatic considerations. Netanyahu's muted response to Trump's Iran policy is a testament to the high stakes involved, the constant need to weigh the potential costs of every action. The world watches with bated breath, waiting to see how this high-stakes game of chess will play out. Will Netanyahu's silence translate into tangible gains for Israel, or will it be remembered as a missed opportunity to decisively address the Iranian nuclear threat? Only time will tell. For Benjamin Netanyahu, the Iranian nuclear issue is not a matter of political maneuvering or strategic posturing. It is a matter of survival. He views a nuclear-armed Iran as an existential threat to Israel, a danger that could wipe his nation off the map. This deep-seated conviction has been the driving force behind his relentless campaign against Iran's nuclear ambitions. Netanyahu vividly remembers the words of Iranian leaders, their threats to wipe Israel off the map. He sees these threats, coupled with Iran's pursuit of nuclear technology, as a clear and present danger. He believes that Iran's hardline regime cannot be trusted to act responsibly with such destructive power at its fingertips. This unwavering belief in the Iranian threat has shaped Netanyahu's foreign policy for over a decade. It led him to clash with President Obama over the 2015 nuclear deal, which he saw as deeply flawed and dangerous. It has also informed his approach to President Trump, urging him to take a hard line against Iran and dismantle its nuclear program. Netanyahu's unwavering stance on Iran is a reflection of his deep-seated fears for the future of his country. It is a stark reminder of the very real threats that small nations face in a world often dominated by larger powers. Donald Trump's arrival in the White House was met with cautious optimism in Jerusalem. Here was a U.S. president who seemed to share Netanyahu's deep skepticism of Iran, a leader who had withdrawn from the Obama-era nuclear deal that Netanyahu had so vehemently opposed. However, this shared distrust has not translated into the unwavering support that Netanyahu might have hoped for. Trump's unpredictable nature, his disdain for criticism, and his penchant for unilateral action have created a complex web of constraints for Netanyahu. While Trump has offered verbal support for Israel's security concerns, he has also shown a willingness to engage with Iran, to explore diplomatic solutions that make Netanyahu uneasy. This delicate dance between two strong-willed leaders has left Netanyahu in a precarious position. He is reliant on Trump's goodwill, his political and military support, yet he also fears that Trump's unpredictable nature could lead to concessions that would leave Israel vulnerable. Netanyahu finds himself walking a tightrope, trying to maintain a close relationship with Trump while also ensuring that Israel's security concerns are not compromised in the process. It is a high-stakes game of diplomacy, one where the consequences of missteps could be dire. While Netanyahu has been forced to tread carefully on the diplomatic front, Israel has not been idle in its efforts to counter Iranian influence in the region. In recent years, Israel has scored significant strategic victories, weakening Iran's network of allies and proxies. From strikes on Iranian-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon to targeting Iranian military assets in Syria, Israel has demonstrated a willingness to act decisively to protect its interests. These actions, often carried out with tacit American support, have put Israel in a stronger position than it was just a few years ago. They have also created a window of opportunity, a chance to potentially deliver a decisive blow to Iran's nuclear program with less risk of regional blowback. However, this window of opportunity may be closing. Despite Netanyahu's efforts to persuade him, Trump has shown little appetite for a full-scale military confrontation with Iran. He has prioritized diplomacy, however flawed, over military action, leaving Netanyahu with a sense of frustration and missed opportunity. The coming months and years will be crucial for Israel's security. Will Netanyahu be able to leverage Israel's recent strategic gains to achieve a lasting solution to the Iranian nuclear threat? Or will the opportunity slip away, leaving Israel to face a future under the shadow of a nuclear-armed Iran? Section 5. The diplomatic route, Trump's approach, and Netanyahu's frustration. Donald Trump's decision to withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal was initially hailed as a victory by Benjamin Netanyahu. The deal, negotiated by the Obama administration, had been a source of deep frustration for Netanyahu, who viewed it as deeply flawed and dangerous. However, Trump's subsequent actions have done little to assuage Netanyahu's concerns. Trump's approach to Iran has been characterized by unpredictability and mixed signals. While he has imposed harsh sanctions on Iran and engaged in bellicose rhetoric, he has also shown a willingness to engage in dialogue with Iran's leaders, even expressing a desire to meet with President Hassan Rouhani. This diplomatic overture has been met with deep skepticism from Netanyahu. He views Iran's leaders as untrustworthy and believes that any negotiations will ultimately prove fruitless. He fears that Trump, in his eagerness for a diplomatic victory, will make concessions that will only embolden Iran and pave the way for a nuclear weapon. Netanyahu's frustration is palpable. He sees the Trump administration repeating the mistakes of the past, engaging in diplomacy that he believes is doomed to fail. He fears that Trump's desire for a deal, any deal, will come at the expense of Israel's security. Section 6. The Libyan Model, Netanyahu's vision for Iran's nuclear program. Benjamin Netanyahu has been clear about his vision for a solution to the Iranian nuclear crisis. He believes that the only acceptable outcome is the complete dismantling of Iran's nuclear program, a return to a pre-2003 status quo, when Iran had no enrichment capabilities. Netanyahu often points to the 2003 Libyan model as an example of successful denuclearization. In that case, Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi agreed to give up his country's nascent nuclear program in exchange for the lifting of sanctions and normalized relations with the West. However, the Libyan model is not without its flaws. Gaddafi's eventual overthrow and brutal death have been cited by some as evidence that such deals can backfire, leading to instability and violence. Despite these criticisms, Netanyahu remains steadfast in his belief that the Libyan model offers the best hope for a peaceful resolution to the Iranian nuclear crisis. He continues to advocate for a hardline approach, arguing that only sustained pressure and the credible threat of military action will compel Iran to abandon its nuclear ambitions. Section 7. A Race Against Time, Iran's Nuclear Advancements. As the diplomatic wrangling continues, Iran's nuclear program has not stood still. Since Trump's withdrawal from the nuclear deal, Iran has gradually ramped up its nuclear activities, enriching uranium to higher levels and increasing its stockpile of enriched material. While Iran maintains that its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes, these advancements have raised alarm bells in Israel and beyond. The International Atomic Energy Agency, or IAEA, has confirmed that Iran is in violation of key provisions of the 2015 nuclear deal, further escalating tensions. This steady progress towards a nuclear weapon has heightened Netanyahu's sense of urgency. He believes that time is running out, that the international community must act decisively to prevent Iran from crossing the nuclear threshold. Netanyahu has repeatedly warned that Israel will not allow Iran to acquire nuclear weapons, hinting at the possibility of unilateral military action if necessary. This rhetoric has raised the stakes even higher, creating a climate of uncertainty and fear in the region. Section 8. Political tightrope, Netanyahu's limited options. Benjamin Netanyahu finds himself in a difficult position, facing a complex geopolitical puzzle with limited options. His once unwavering alliance with the United States has been strained by Trump's unpredictable behavior, leaving him with fewer levers of influence. Domestically, Netanyahu faces his own political challenges. While he remains popular among his base, his recent legal troubles and accusations of corruption have weakened his standing. He is walking a political tightrope, trying to maintain his grip on power while navigating a treacherous international landscape. Netanyahu's options appear limited. He can continue to pressure the Trump administration to take a hard line against Iran, but he risks alienating a crucial ally if he pushes too hard. He can also choose to act unilaterally, but this would be a risky gamble with potentially catastrophic consequences. The coming months will be crucial for Netanyahu. He must weigh his options carefully, balancing his desire to eliminate the Iranian nuclear threat with the need to preserve Israel's strategic relationships and his own political survival. Section 9. Awaiting the outcome. Netanyahu's hopes for the future. As the world watches and waits, Benjamin Netanyahu finds himself at a crossroads. His lifelong mission to prevent a nuclear-armed Iran hangs in the balance, the outcome uncertain. He has staked his legacy on confronting this threat, and his actions in the coming months and years will determine whether he succeeds or fails. Netanyahu's hopes for the future likely rest on a combination of factors. He needs the United States to remain a steadfast ally, providing diplomatic and military support. He needs the international community to present a united front against Iran's nuclear ambitions. And perhaps most importantly, he needs time to pursue his strategy of containment and deterrence, hoping to prevent Iran from crossing the nuclear threshold. The path ahead is fraught with danger. The possibility of miscalculation, of unintended escalation, looms large. Yet Netanyahu remains steadfast in his resolve, determined to protect his country from what he perceives as an existential threat. Only time will tell whether his efforts will be enough to secure a peaceful and secure future for Israel.